Good morning, gemstone lovers and industry partners. This is David Artinian with Artinian Gems. As of this morning, our industry is still on hold. Stores are closed, and the question I'm seeing on social media is, what do we do? Now, when I think about this question, it takes me back to something similar that happened to me over 10 years ago. It was when I was robbed of virtually all my gems when I was on the road. The loss was tragic, it was sudden, and it was complete. I didn't know what to do. And it happened right at the time of the 2008 meltdown. I mean, at that time, I just remember the emotions that were swirling in my mind: fear, anxiety, resentment, helplessness. I knew that I did not want to dwell in that place of darkness and self-pity and hopelessness. And I knew that if I was to get out of this situation, I was going to have to rein in the rampant emotions that were seeking to completely derail my personal as well as professional life. The battle, win or lose, would first take place in my mind. And I'm going to share with you the principles that I put in place that helped me not only get through that time, but also double and eventually triple my business. I knew that if I was going to overcome this, I had to overcome with the opposite emotions. So I knew that I had to practice gratefulness. So I laid on the bed in my hotel and I said, "Thank you, God. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but I know I'll get through this. And I thank you." Then I began to think, I thank you that I'm still alive. I thank you that I have a loving wife. I thank you that I have a home and a roof over my head. I thank you that I have a future and I have hope. I thank you that you're with me. I thank you. I said thank you, thank you, thank you over and over and over again until I began to drown out the voices of fear and negativity. I still had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that I had to get control of my emotions. The other principle that I had learned in practice over time and would be sorely tested this time was the principle that says, in every adversity is a seed of equal or greater opportunity. And so I began to think, well, if there was an opportunity, if there was a seed of something good in this terrible, unforgivable, awful situation, what might it be? What is the seed of benefit? And I asked myself that over and over and over again. And I wish I hadn't to answer that night. I wish the clouds had parted and all of a sudden I could see clearly, but I couldn't. But I knew if I persevered with that really good question, an answer would eventually come. In other words, let me put it differently. The question is, if this tragedy turned out to be the springboard for the greatest advancement and benefit in my personal and business life, what might that be? At first, there's no answer for that when you're in pain. But if you persist, ask the question over and over and over again, and begin to write down little sentences. Just begin to write down what comes to your mind. The key to success is asking different and better questions. As I persisted in asking that question, ideas began to come to my mind and I began to write them down. It caused me to look outward and to spring into action. So what I did is I wrote down new goals, I wrote down new outcomes, and I began to lay out a plan of recovery, even in the midst of my pain. I wrote out some long-term goals for my business. I wrote out some short-term goals for my business. I knew that I immediately had to get back overseas and get new gems. So I had to find out how to borrow money, how to recover a little bit financially to where I could get overseas, buy new gems, and get back on the horse again. The ideas that came to me during that time caused me to change the course of my business. It changed it to the point where within a couple of years my income had doubled, and then it has continued to increase since that point. Then the final principle to put into place is take massive action. One of the greatest antidotes to depression is taking action, any kind of action. Just get started. If you're like me, this is not a holiday. This is a gift. This is a pause in time to reinvent yourself, to ask those tough and better questions that will launch you forward. It's a time to look at the chokeholds in your business that are holding you back, that are keeping your vision down. And what keeps it down is the urgency of the busyness of the day-to-day. And if you're in that situation, if you're under pressure like I am, this is time to break through and to break out. So thank you for your time. I wish you the best of success, and I hope to see you soon.